Okay.
Okay. Being amongst the 9.8% of babies born prematurely, Genesis Ochoa was brought into this world on April 2nd, 2003 in Houston, Texas. As a daughter of Robert and Myra Ochoa, Genesis was always surrounded by creativity. Whether it was her dad's live performances or her grandpa's recording company, Genesis wanted to start singing in recitals. As her passion was displayed in its truest form, Genesis and her family decided to move to Burbank, California to fulfill her dream to perform at 6 years old. It started off as acting in commercials, TV shows, and voiceovers, turned into her first lead performance in 2019. While Genesis had no experience, she was chosen to play Anne Frank, the lead role, at the Black Box Theater in LA at the age of 15 years old. During this time, there was a lot of talk about the immigration status and the border crisis, which motivated the director to characterize Anne Frank and her family as Hispanic. From this came association with largely known media outlets, such as CNN and the LA Times, where Genesis was actually featured and interviewed. This brought Genesis to a place of true gratitude, because there was more to the story than just a young girl fulfilling her dreams. On June 22nd, the same year of this performance, Genesis's life changed forever. Her best friend, supporter, practical founder of Positivity, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. From that accompanied 10 rounds of chemo and eventual remission in 2020, but during this time, Genesis really struggled with her spiritual and her mental health. While she knew the commonality of cancer being diagnosed, she never imagined her own father inheriting this life-threatening disease. Because of this, anger and denial was a product of her circumstance, but she didn't let that stop her from being a daughter in her father's life. She, accompanied by her younger sister Melanie, would perform for all the patients on the floor of her dad's hospital room as a means of utilizing her passion to serve other people. And this is what she would label as a blessing through the hardship. This past January, Genesis's dad wasn't feeling well. They went in to do a routine CT scan and found 3 spots on her father's liver. After the celebration of remission and this new chapter of life brought another storm and another diagnosis. She wasn't going to come to Pepperdine. Her plan until community college and being an emotional support close to her family. But that was her plan. And she's always exercised her Catholic faith that God's plan is always better. And that is what has brought her here today. Being able to study the passions that God has instilled within her, international business, and theater screen arts. During this time, she will be supporting her dad with the help of her mom, her sister, and her boyfriend, Jude, while also playing Anne Frank next year again in April of next year. Now, Genesis lives by these 4 principles and deems them worthy of encouragement to you. The first is that God works in mysterious ways. The second, we cannot live our lives in fear. The third, God never gives us anything we can't handle. And the fourth, all things are possible with God.